unboxing is Heartberry Bling by Jenny K. Dupuis, illustrated by Eva Campbell. And I just know her from her first book, I Am Not a Number. And I feel like I've met her, but I don't think I have. I think we just communicated through some, like maybe emails or through social media. But I can't even remember, but I just feel like I know her in the sense of like, I Am Not a Number was her grandmother's story. And the reason why she's writing these stories is because we need own voices, First Nation stories, so that people know exactly the, horrific things that happened to them. And so she wrote I Am Not a Number. And it's about the residential boarding schools where the kids were abused. And now there's all these, news articles about all the children that were killed at these church-run schools, Catholic church and also Christian, and I feel like her story is an unflinching depiction. In fact, if anything, she holds back a little bit, but it's an unflinching, compelling story about what happened to her grandmother, and is a must read. Because we need to know these pieces of history that are just, you know what I mean, like swept under the rug. So I'm super excited because I think this is her second book. And I think she's amazing. I just think she is a multi-talented person who's like, bravely saying, I'm gonna tell these stories. Like I don't, they need to be told, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But I'm gonna give it to you in an interesting narrative. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna make it like a little bit more, simple, so that, like it, so it doesn't seem so bad as what actually happened. I'm gonna peel away the onion layers and let you know what actually happened, So anyway, so this is a different story. This is Maggie visiting her granny. She's gonna do her first ever beading project, a pair of sparkling strawberry earrings. And while she's learning how to bead with her granny, she's connecting to her Anishinaabe culture, especially when her grandmother lost her First Nation status and was forced to leave her community. So I don't know that story or why she would lose it, if it was her specifically. Oh, it's because she married someone without status, an unfair law that didn't apply to men. Always things that are unfair. And so it's a multi-generational story about beading and about being with her grandmother, but also something really important about what happened in this First Nations community, and the gender discrimination in the Indian Act, which is probably not what I'm guessing. It's not, this Indian Act wasn't from her tribe, the Anishinaabe, but might have been something that was a federal law. Like I think she's Canadian, so it's something that probably was a federal law that affected all the First Nations tribes, that was discriminatory to women, and then her grandmother was a victim of this. But it's possibly specific to her tribe, but I think that's probably not true. So I'm excited to read it. I just think she's a really important voice, and these are really important stories. And in the end note, I'm sure we'll hear more specifically about how this is, a true retelling. So thank you to the publisher, who is Highwater Press, for sending this to me, and also for just bringing these stories to the world. These kind of stories don't exist. This was probably the first picture book about this particular Indian Act and gender discrimination. I'm guessing this is the very first one, and that probably 90% of us who are not First Nations or Native American would even know what the Indian Act is or how it affected the people that it was, quote unquote, like, created to protect, but in fact isn't protecting them. And so, yeah, kudos, and I'm excited, and congratulations to Jenny. So thank you again for the book and for watching.